Okie dokie. Hey, hi, hello, welcome back, Alexandrian Codex. It's end of another work day for me. Actually, it might not be the end. I might go in and do some more work, but this is the end of most of my work for the day. What the fuck have I done today? Oh, god, yeah, today's been a long day. First thing, you'll notice a few changes up here. The Inuit and their name stretches around here, so it looks weird, and the Dene now have all of this unclaimed territory. Reason for that is Canada stays a satellite of the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom would then start immediately settling this territory, and I didn't want that, so I gave these territories to Dene and Inuit basically as placeholders. Canada, as we've seen, will have events to annex them, and if something happens to Canada, America will. I've added to quite a few existing events. God, I feel like yeah, some events surrounding the Mexican revolts. I looked into it; they're actually quite good. I've expanded them a little bit, just a teeny bit, because they already work pretty well. I may go in and do some more specific work later, but I think it's at a good place right now. I need to do some more playtests. The Canada revolts were already an event in the game for the United Kingdom. They would just crush it immediately because, you know, they're the United Kingdom. So instead, some of those events have been transferred over to Canada and Quebec, just mostly as flavor with like some inconsequential stuff that happens. I mean, consciousness and militancy until you unify, but it's really inconsequential with how quickly it happens. Yeah, so the Sioux Wars are a thing in this game, right? Let's just minimize that. The Sioux Wars are a thing that happens when you take Custer's expedition to the Black Hills, or whatever the fuck it's called. We don't own it right now, so I can't see it. But, I've totally revamped that. It was sort of functional before, but it was really short and abrupt for something that covered most of the 18th century, really from 1840s up until 1870s or 80s. The Sioux Wars and conflict with the Sioux were pretty prevalent. Same thing with the Apache, and I'll get around to those. But today I mostly worked on the Sioux. So now let's pop this out. Now we start out with the Gragas Massacre. The Gragas Massacre happens in 1854 in Wisconsin, Wyoming. And we'll take a look at it. Yeah, you don't need to read through the flavor, but basically, the Sioux Wars are now a bit more dynamic. You don't make one decision and it just throws you into a perpetual war. No, you have chances to avoid warfare. You can either respond to most of these with punitive strikes, which will reduce the number of Dakota or Cheyenne, depending on the event, in either the affected state or the entire country, and raise their militancy accordingly. There are no direct revolts spawned by this event series. Instead, if you get their militancy high enough, the automatic rebellion mechanics kick in, and it works fairly well. That's the way the old Sioux Wars mechanic worked. And if anything, 9 militancy is higher than what you were getting before. This is probably a bit more aggro. And honestly, when I had the Sioux Wars, I could see games go by without a single revolt, which I didn't feel super satisfying. So you get some flavor now, some history. You can either, you know, hurt them, or they gain consciousness. All of the not native Americans in that province gain consciousness, because to simulate the natives in that populace are becoming aware of the demands they can expect and the freedoms that they should enjoy, and the normal Americans are like, hey, maybe I should get more. You lose prestige because obviously you're making settlements with backwards natives. Internationally, it wouldn't be the most prestigious action, not a lot, and you lose 1,000. $1,000 is basically nothing. Then we next go up to the Dakota. The Dakota War actually happens not in North and South Dakota, as you might imagine, but actually happened primarily in Minnesota. Again, same thing here. More treaty payments, more militancy. Then, depending on what you choose there. Next up at the Colorado War, which actually happened during the Civil War, but I don't have this tied to the Civil War. You can either believe the Army officers in Colorado or not believe the Army officers in Colorado. Then, depending on the choices you've made, if any of these you've decided to take aggressive action, then you will get this event, the Powder River Expedition, to signify the army moving into contested territories in here to try to create the peace, and you'll start getting that militancy just fucking everywhere in this area, not just in the affected state. If you've done appeasement, you won't get this. Then Red Cloud's War is again avoidable to compensate them for their lost lands, or, well, you either have to compensate the Crow for their lands that you're taking and giving to the Sioux, or you need to enforce the treaty and back up the Crow through military force. Again, one has a flag that says you did it peacefully, one has a flag that says you did it. And depending on what choices you make, this event might happen. The Great Sioux War, which you are ultimately pushed to decide if you're going to force the resettlement of the Sioux in order to secure the Black Hills, or if you'll recognize their sovereignty and buy mining rights. Now, it's not cheap, it's not super expensive, but it's not cheap. This is twice the offer made by Congress to the Lakota and Dakota at the time, and it's a compromise, basically. You're paying them for mining rights, but you are not forcibly relocating them, or you do forcibly relocate them, and then depending on which one of these you pick, and if you manage to avert this or not, you get one of these. You cannot get both of these. Oh yeah, this hasn't, I fixed this, but I haven't exited the game and re-entered it, so ignore this. Basically, if you manage to avoid unnecessary conflict, you get most of that prestige back. You don't get any of the money back, but Dakota and Cheyenne lose militancy, still gaining consciousness. This is nationwide, or nationwide you relocate the Dakota and Cheyenne to Indian Territory, all the fucking way down here. So yeah, that's what I've done with most of my day today. I've started reworking the Apache events. In fact, the Apache Wars events I did first, but now that I've gone through and done so much for the Sioux, I really feel like I need to add more substance to the Apache Wars, because I think they're like 2 or 3 events, and I really need to buffer that out now. Hopefully I'll be doing this with Major Wars with, oh god, most of these that there were prolonged conflict with. I'll additionally have more relocation events and things like that. Yeah, so pretty productive day today. Oh, Stretch. Yeah, that's really about it. Nothing too pretty and sexy. A lot of the stuff I'm working on now is gonna be events and back-end stuff to add flavor. But yeah, I want the player to actually engage a little bit more with real history, have some dynamism in being able to make choices to avert, straight up genocide. But if you want to do things historically, or even a little more forcibly than historically, I want those to be options too, even if I find them personally abhorrent. It's just, yeah. So, I guess this is a short one. Oh, yeah, I have this in windowed mode. If you're noticing my icons over here and this fitting there, windowed mode lets me actually click in and out when I'm modding shit and test stuff more rapidly, but when I'm recording, I prefer to have it in full screen mode, but I'm fucking brain dead and tired and didn't notice I didn't. So, this is it for today. Hopefully tomorrow I can talk a little bit more about the Apache War that I'm doing and whatever other reworks I managed to get done by then. Ooh, I wanted to add the Mayo, but I guess I can do that tomorrow. Until tomorrow, we'll say toodaloo, take care. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.